Imagine the sound of shoes squeaking on polished hospital floors, the hum of fluorescent lights overhead, and the low murmur of discussions outside patient rooms. I was fresh out of college, a brand new dietitian, taking it all in, when I was invited to give a grand rounds lecture on heart health at the hospital that I worked in. Now, to say I was nervous would be a massive understatement. I was 22, juggling a brand new baby, starting a new job, and now me, this rookie, was supposed to stand in front of a room full of seasoned cardiologists and teach them about heart health? You've got to be kidding me. But sometimes you just have to put your big girl panties on and go for it. So I took a deep breath, stepped up to that podium, and spoke for 45 minutes. And that moment sparked my obsession with hospital grand rounds. There's something about sharing stories, hearing the complex cases, learning about non-traditional approaches to medicine. I was literally hooked. It was like I got to step inside an episode of House, where every detail mattered and every story had a lesson. Fast forward to now, I work as an outpatient pediatric PA, and while I absolutely love what I do, I don't get to experience those grand round moments anymore. So I decided to create my own. Enter Nutrition Grand Rounds. Now, if we haven't met, I'm Colleen, a PA, dietitian, and your nutrition mentor. You're listening to the Exam Room Nutrition Podcast, your guide to giving better nutrition advice. Now, in Nutrition Grand Rounds, each month I bring together leading experts in the field of nutrition to share the latest guidelines, evidence-based tips, and real-world insights to help you give your patients the care they deserve. These monthly webinars are open to all healthcare professionals, and you can sign up at any time at nutritiongrandrounds.com. We meet via Zoom, and we just kicked things off in January with a phenomenal presentation on nutrition for bone health. And today, you're in for a treat, my friend, because I've handpicked some of the best moments from that presentation, featuring two incredible dietitians, Grace Rivers and Stephanie Turkel. They have over 30 years of experience and a shared mission, improving women's health through bone-building nutrition. So in a world hyper-focused on weight loss and aesthetics, let's kick things off and learn why we should focus on bone health with our patients.
So why focus on bone health? Well, we discovered that 7 out of 10 women over the age of 50 have either low bone mass or osteoporosis. And in that, more than 50% have low bone mass, which is also known as osteopenia, and almost 20% have osteoporosis. The problem is most women usually find out there's a problem after they either break a bone or they have their first DEXA bone scan at the age of 65. And we know that there are multiple health risks that do follow a fracture, especially when it's a fracture of the femur bone.
Now do you see why we need to look beyond the scale and consider what's happening in the bones? So she mentioned a DEXA scan in that clip. So let's get a refresher on how to read a T-score. Working in pediatrics, Lord knows I need a reminder.
And so a T-score, what is it? Well, the T-score is the result that you receive when you have a DEXA bone scan. And a DEXA scan stands for dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. That DEXA scan, by the way, also measures your body composition. So when you have this scan and you're looking at your bone density, you get this T-score result. And what you want is to have a number as close to 0 as possible. And the reason for that is because a score of a 0 is representing the bone density of a person in their young adult life of the same gender. So they should have strong bones because we pretty much top out building bones in our 20s. And then that's about as strong as our bones are going to be. So you're comparing your bone density to that person's bone density. And so that is a 0. So anything as close to a 0 as you can get is wonderful. It's possible to be on the plus side, on the positive side, but it's very rare because that means you have super strong bones. So the healthy category is anywhere from a -1 to a 0. That is fantastic. Low bone mass is anything between a negative 2.5 and a -1. And you can think of low bone mass as osteopenia or even pre-osteoporosis. And then a score that's below -2.5 indicates osteoporosis, meaning that the bones are at increased risk of fracturing.
All right, now we're master DEXA scan readers. Let's talk about menopause and understand why this stage in life puts women at higher risk for osteoporosis.
Once you reach menopause, you start to lose an average of 1% of your bone mass each year. So that is certainly something to be concerned about. All your life, you have estrogen protecting you. So once you reach that menopause, it's now gone. And if a lady has undergone early menopause, then it's even more of a risk for her because of that bone loss. And the reason this becomes such a concern for us is because, one, we're growing older. And as we grow older, lots of times our calorie needs go down, but the nutrient needs continue to go up.
So now we understand why bone health is important and how menopause affects our patients' bones. Let's get into why you're here. Nutrition. Now, in the full presentation, Stephanie and Grace talked about 5 nutrients that are of critical importance. But for this clip, we'll hear about a nutrient that you probably aren't discussing with your patients. And remember, if you want to hear about all 5 nutrients, go sign up at nutritiongrandrounds.com and you'll have instant access to this entire presentation.
And we will look at the nutrients that really impact us here. Okay, on magnesium, we're changing gears here. It's not a nutrient you hear that much about unless you find out that your level is low. And so then you become concerned about it. And it's very important because it mineralizes our bones, which of course protect against bone loss. We need 320 milligrams in a day, but you can see that we're not getting that. So if you have a client who is concerned about that, or you as the dietitian is concerned about that, or the healthcare provider, what can you do to see to it that somebody is reminding them to eat foods that are good sources of magnesium? And it comes from animal and plant sources. Needing 320, getting from a serving of, say, a dairy milk or yogurt or any of the other animal products, getting somewhere maybe about 25 milligrams in a serving, and that can go up. Plant sources being about the same, some of those being maybe 40 milligrams in a serving, but it comes from different places. So again, if you've got someone that's not a big meat eater and they only want plants, there is a way to get magnesium in. And 2 things that really shine here are nuts and seeds. And I think almonds is one of the major ones. So magnesium can be found and it can be pretty easy to get in once you know the foods that help you out with it.
So how can we help our patients truly meet their nutrient needs? Let's start by addressing a common misunderstanding many women have about their diets. It's something I see all the time. Women choosing this one meal, thinking it's the epitome of health. But in reality, it's missing the mark when it comes to the bone-building nutrients their bodies desperately need.
And so what we see and practice is a lot of intake of salads. And while salad is good and the greenery is good, that with a few croutons and salad dressing is not the answer. And that usually stems into, well, I ate a salad and that doesn't hold me. And so then I ate a bag of potato chips and then I ate everything else I found until I got home and I had dinner, and I never really fill up from eating salad. And that's because the salad doesn't have everything that it needs. It's still your meal. So yeah, as I said, veggies are good, but where's the rest of it? How about putting some protein in there? And we can do that from animals or you can do it from plants. Beans are very filling. And what about some carbohydrates, such as a whole grain like brown rice or bulgur or quinoa, and put that in there to help round that out a little bit, get all of the critical nutrients that are necessary for us. Include some fruit and some veggies in there, other veggies, cucumbers, tomatoes, squash, whatever you like, asparagus, put that in there, including all of that. You will be full when you finish eating that, and that will hold you longer and it won't be so tempting when you come across a bag of potato chips.
Now, when you're part of Nutrition Grand Rounds, You also have the opportunity to submit questions or ask them live. And one question that came up a few times was around milk. So let's see how we should handle patients who don't like or want to drink dairy milk.
Another thing that we see is the big question of, what milk am I supposed to drink? Do I drink this plant milk? Is coconut milk okay? I still ask the same question. What are you drinking it for? Are you using milk in your coffee and that's all there is to it? Or are you drinking it? Do you think you're getting protein from that milk? And if you are drinking it for protein, and you're drinking plant milk, make sure it's either soy milk, pea milk, which would be the brand Ripple, or protein almond milk. Not regular almond milk, protein almond milk. And almond milk is all one word. It's the way the brand chose to do it. But doing those three would get the protein in there for you. And so that is how you would do that. The dairy milks do provide protein for you.
Here's a final question that I thought was a really important one to address.
I am wondering if there are any specific dietary considerations for women that are also at risk of kidney stones.
And to hear the answer, head over to nutritiongrandrounds.com right now. You see why I love Grand Rounds? The cases, the creativity, the connection, that feeling of learning something new and immediately seeing how it can help your patients. That's exactly what Nutrition Grand Rounds is all about. We're building a community of passionate healthcare professionals who want to stay on the cutting edge of nutrition science and bring that knowledge into the exam room. Our next presentation is coming up on February 12th at noon Eastern Standard Time. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. If you can't join us live, no worries, the recording will be available immediately. In February, we'll be joined by Dr. Basma Ferris, an OBGYN, registered dietitian, and certified culinary medicine specialist who's unpacking PCOS and the latest nutrition guidelines. This is your chance to learn from the best, ask questions, and walk away with actionable insights that can transform your patients' lives. So head to nutritiongrandrounds.com, sign up today, and you'll get access to all past recordings, slides, and resources too. I hope you will join us. But until next time, let's continue to make our patients healthier, one exam room at a time. I'll see you next time.